Hi, I'm Peter Kalmstrom of kalmstrom.com Business Solutions. In this demonstration, I'll go from zero to Azure website with Claude Code. To do that, I have signed up for Microsoft Azure. I have installed the Visual Studio Code. I have installed the extension Claude Code for Visual Studio Code. And I've also set some permissions here under Preferences, under Settings here. I've gone into the extensions and Claude Code. I've set it to allow bypass, and I've also set that to be the default permission mode. That means that I won't get a lot of security warnings and permission warnings, so I'll be able to go straight ahead with the actual work. I've also created a folder here in my documents called the Claude Built website. But that's about it. So let's get started with actually connecting the dots here and creating the website. First of all, we're going to open the folder. So I'm going to go into my documents, open that folder there, and that's the session workspace for Claude Code in this scenario. So here's Claude Code already opened. Great, that's what I want to do. If that doesn't open automatically, you just click here and go for a new session there. Great. So once we're in here, we're going to install all the tools, and I'm just written a very simple prompt here, so I'm just going to copy and paste that here. Install the tools needed for you to manage my Azure website. And while that's working, I'm going to add another tab, and that's a very useful way of working with Claude Code, because of course Claude Code is not super fast all the time, so you might want to multitask. And of course, it's a good learning tool to read what Claude is actually doing here, but you can also start on another thing if you know more or less what's going to happen. So while this is installing that tool now, I'm going to start creating the website. Create a simple HTML website. Very simple prompt. So as you see, it's already created the website to the right, and it's suggesting what to do in the left here. Go ahead, sounds like a good plan. And I'll just do that. And now it's installing the tools. And the next thing I need to do is to authenticate against Azure so that I allow Claude the permission to work with it here. Now I got a Windows security warning, and yes, I want to allow that to happen. And here we had another security warning about Git. As you probably read here, it was actually installing a bit too many tools, things that I won't strictly need for this demo, but these are good tools to get installed also. I didn't specify what type of website it was, so it installed all the tools that I will probably need. Here's another security warning. Let's approve that also. While that installation is continuing here, let's take a look at this website that it's created. Welcome to my website. Yep, very, very simple. Home, about, contact. Yep, very basic. But that doesn't matter. We're just showing the tools. And of course, we can expand on that later using very simple prompts like this. So it's installing the tools now. So let it do its work. So now all the tools are installed, and the one we're going to be using in this demo is just this Azure client. So let's just do that, AC login. And most likely it won't recognize that. No, it doesn't recognize it. And you can restart the whole shell here. So let's do that. And that's the easiest thing to do. Terminal, new terminal, and then we're going to find the AC tool there. So let's see, there we go. Let's try it again. And we just press up arrow there, AC login. And no, it still doesn't recognize it. But so let's just take that. That's one benefit of working with AI. If we get a problem, we just copy and paste the problem here and let Claude Code in this case resolve it for us. Yeah, that's the path issue there. So there I have a bit of code to resolve that path issue there. So let's try it again. Just copied and pasted that, and then do the AC login again. And now it's logging in. So I'm going to use this account for my login. Now it's going to find my Azure subscription. There we are. Now we are logged in, and no problem. So next I'm just going to write the instruction. Create a static free Azure website and publish to it. I don't even have to declare that I want to publish these files that are here. It will guess that, so it's very convenient. So now it's thinking about that and making a plan for it, and then it's going to happen. Now it didn't figure out that I was already logged in, but that's I can say that's done, and then the site name, it will be something new. That's fine. Region West Europe is good. Resource group name, it's suggested. All that is good. So I'll just say go ahead, or just OK or whatever. And now you see here it's checking that I already logged in. I could have told it that, but it's being intelligent enough to actually check that for me. So I can be lazy and focus on how am I going to improve this wonderful website once it's done and published. Now we can follow along here the steps that it's doing. As you see, it's created the resource group, created a placeholder, and getting the deployment token, stuff like that. And now it's deploying the actual site. So it's deploying these 3 files over here. And now you see that it's deployed, and it's verifying that the public URL here, the live URL, is reachable. Now it's confirming that it's live and serving, and the HTTPS 200, which is good, has the correct title. Now it's saving this resource details to memory, so I have them in future conversations. This is very important, that how it's saving that. That's something that we'll go through in another demo, but it is saving it now. But I'm going to go through where it's saving that and how it's saving that, because that's important. So now the site is live. So now we just click the link here, arrow from Claude and Azure. It didn't actually publish the site that I have. It didn't read the files. Okay, so let's continue to doing it. I was sure that I was going to guess that, but okay, it doesn't. Publish the site I already have in this directory. So it needed that extra information. Of course, if I had done all of it in the same session here, it would have known that I just created a site here, but now it wasn't the same. These sessions do not have knowledge of each other. However, they do have knowledge about where they are, which folder they're working on in Visual Studio Code here. And now it's discovered that I actually have a website here, so I'll publish it. And publish the right thing, then I'll deploy. Yes, there we go. Got it. I'll remove the placeholder. Perfect, that's what we wanted to do. So it's doing that. Took away its own placeholder there. Deploying from the root. As you see, this is going rather fast. I don't have to monitor all of this. I can just give it the prompt and make it do its whole thing. So it's very powerful. And this is, of course, another really strong failure here, that it can correct its work. If I found a script that published my website online, then when that failed, would have to start over. But here with Claude, I can just feed it the error, or it will find the error itself and try again in another way and try to figure it out. And again, once it's figured it out, then it will save it to memory. So now it's deployed again. So let's go and refresh here. And there we go, that's the site, of course. So now let's just do one simple change here to my website. Change the index HTML contact email to peter@kalmstrom.com, like that. And of course, I want it to deploy. So now it's going to find that email address in the site, which is just one page, and then it's going to update, and yeah, you see it's already deploying this. So for me, this is a very powerful way of working with simple websites. Of course, I mean, you can get much more complex than this, but I just wanted to give a from scratch video from zero to Azure website driven by Claude in a few steps. So now it's deploying. And it's checking that the peter@kalmstrom.com is indeed live. So let's refresh this page, and there's my email address. And of course, we can go much further with that website. But here's from zero to Azure or Claude Code driven website. Thank you for watching.